Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. I'm out on another walk, and today I'm at Patching in West Sussex near Clapham, north of Worthing and Arundel, just off the A27. And I'm here going to start my circular walk. It's only a couple of miles, not very much, on a very cold and misty and murky, colourless day in January 2021. So welcome along. The church itself here is Patching Church. It's a 13th century church, although it was modernised in 1888. So I'm not going to go in. I don't know if it's open, but I'm just going to have a quick look at some of it and then find where my footpath starts. I'll put the map on the screen so you can see. I'm basically heading west, going through some woodland and then coming back down to the car park here, which is just down there where I've parked my car. Van. It's a van, not a car. It is a lovely church. It's finished off in flint and what have you, but of course it's finished off in the Victorian period, so we don't see what it was like in the 13th century, and one wonders it'll probably be very different, much more humble, I imagine. But here is a good example of Horsham stone, which is usually on the roof. Well, it is on the roof here, of course. It's on the roof of this little outhouse thing, which is rather nice, but it's nice to get a glimpse of Horsham stone more at eye level. Anyway, we better get going on our walk. We won't go inside, as I said. I'm going to look at the map and see where I launch myself on the first of the footpaths I'm following. So let's get cracking. Well, the first part of my walk involved going across this muddy field behind me, and now we're going to come up into some woods. Well, it's very muddy today, very muddy on this path. Oh my goodness. Have a look down there. Yes. And I'm glad I've got my old walking boots on, which I don't mind getting a bit covered in mud. I nearly didn't bring a change of shoes, which was stupid. Anyway, it's nice to get out. It's not as cold as it was yesterday, and we're slowly working our way through this woodland. I'm out. Those woods weren't terribly long, and the path was quite narrow and just muddy, as it is everywhere. So I'm hoping I'm not going to go flying onto my bottom as I wander along. However, these views here, somewhat shrouded in not very great light, so we can't see much, but that is the part of the winter landscape, I'm afraid. I think one thing that the terrible virus of last year, which hopefully we're on top of now, has given to everybody is that sense of wanting to get out, having been locked up, and actually having an appreciation for the outside world. And I'm doing this, I'm actually recording this on New Year's Day, and already people are out and about in their droves, families, individual walkers, even though the weather is bleak, and that's just great to see. There's another footpath sign here, and it's a crisscross And I've been walking across this great big field. In fact, this big field, as you can see here, goes into other fields, and actually it makes one massive great big field, which I can understand is a sensible thing for the farmer, seeing as they're planting probably just one monocrop here. Last year, feels strange to call it last year, but last year I was talking about the monocrops. I was learning about this intensive farming that we're doing, and how really we need to go back to mixed farming and have animals and grain on the farms, and have smaller fields and smaller machines if we want to be sustainable for the future. And what I think, when you come across a public footpath here, which seems to indicate that there was footpath up, or there is a footpath up here, and then there's a footpath in front of me and a footpath that way, but it's all open now. And I think probably there were hedges here, and probably these were individual little fields rather than this massive great big field where all the hedges seem to have been removed. Corridors for wildlife, and of course fields for crop rotation for animals, and also then for set aside for grass, for meadows, and all of that. I do hope that we go back to some of that. I don't see the signs of it yet, but I think we're going to have to do something. Unbelievable. Just gone past Selden Farm, and then there's some stables here. Unbelievable. Right in the middle of the countryside, somebody has a radio blaring full blast, I guess whilst they work, but it's very intrusive. If you're walking in the countryside, it's very intrusive, and I have to say very annoying, but hey ho. Anyway, I'm circling round now, beginning to make my way back, going north and then going into these woods on the Angmering Estate. And this is a lovely place to come for a walk. Very, very muddy, as I've already alluded to everywhere, but it's a fantastic bit of woodland, which they manage, of course, but you can keep to the tracks and what have you, but a lot of nature to have a look at. I imagine it's quite an old wood as well. Oh, they've turned their radio off now. That's a blooming relief, I can tell you. Although there's a woman in there shouting away at people, or the horses, I don't know which. Anyway, it's just nice to have a moment. Last year we were planning, Julia and I, to do 5 days in a wood, where we would spend a week in a wood and just look at all sorts of aspects of that wood, the trees. Oh, the radio started up again. And it was a chance to get back to nature and really sort of spend that time away from screens and all sorts of things. But of course with COVID, everything had to be cancelled. So maybe it's possible we could do it this year. I'm going to get away from this damn intrusion into my ear space. can't help noticing there's loads of these stacks of logs in the woods. I think they grow them. I don't know what they do with the wood. I don't know whether they sell the wood for firewood. That would be very nice if they did. I mean, nice if I was one of the recipients of it, of course. Sorry, my lips are so cold I can barely get the words out, which is a bit ridiculous. Yes, or otherwise I suppose the wood is sold on for normal timber. It looks like most of it's pine, so it's probably not good for firewood. I think ash and oak would be far, far better. Beech is good, I think, for firewood. I don't get much beech, though, from my local suppliers, which is a bit of a shame. And every now and again people do offer me various bits of wood, which I don't really know what they are, but they burn well and they help keep me warm in the winter, which is what I like. Right, I've just got to find a turning now to my right, heading back eastwards. It'll take me back to the church and back to my van, so that's the next thing. Aha! I found a beech tree. A lovely beech tree to get up and personal with. Hello. In fact, I've now, as I move east, this whole area is in beech woods. So I wonder what they do with this timber once they've got it. The trees are very straight, I have to say. All managed, all planted, regimented and what have you. But yeah, it's actually a very beautiful place to come wandering if you're ever this way. And on the ground you've got all the leaf litter from last year, which will slowly mould down and feed the trees that are here once again. It's an amazing cycle. They are my shoes. Ha! My walking boots. They are a complete and utter mess. I've just walked through the muddiest of tracks here, but I'm at the edge of the forest now, and hopefully, if I've got everything right and I followed the route correctly, I should see the church on the horizon, and then I'll be heading back to my van. And I tell you what, when I get home, because I'm only a few miles away, I shall make myself a very warm and very welcome cup of coffee, I can tell you. It has been good though. Let's just get to the edge here and see if the church is actually there. Well, there it is, just over there, and I'm going to circle around this big field and I'll be back to my van in no time. So there you go. Well, that's it for this walk. I'm going to put the camera away and trudge through this mud and get back as quickly as I can now. Focus on walking and not filmmaking. But as look at the beginning of the video, you'll see the map and you'll see where I went, and it's a lovely, pleasant walk. I'd suggest waiting for the water to evaporate a bit so that the mud isn't quite so wet and soggy and fills up your boots. Anyway, if you have enjoyed it, thank you for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you on more of my videos. You can of course support me by becoming a patron, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care and have a good time. Bye bye for now. Bye bye. Right, more squelches. Squelch, squelch, squelch. Ugh.